Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Flash Agus here, and today I'm going to be bringing you a $400 budget PC gaming build. Now, I chose these parts myself, and I'm pretty proud because this is definitely a console killer that you want to make if you're through with PS4. And you don't really have to be through with PS4. You just want to transition over to PC and use your PS4 just like for something like exclusives. So the first part we got here is the AMD A8 7600 quad-core processor. This processor is really good for like gaming, but it's not too much of a processor that you want to edit with. You can do some stuff like with Photoshop, but you don't really want to render too much videos. It works, but it's nothing that will definitely kill the game out there with editing. So just be aware of that. This processor comes in at $72, which is really cheap. I was going to choose the AMD 860K, but that price rose up to $90 on Amazon, and I was like, that's a little strange. So the stores in this video I'm going to be using is Outlet PC, Newegg, and SuperBlitz. I'll give you a link in the description for the PC part list. It'll be down there, so just go check. You don't have to come back to this video. Just favorite it, and all you have to do is go to that page. This next part is the Gigabyte GA-F2-A6-8HM FM2 motherboard. This motherboard comes in at $50, and most motherboards these days for a budget gaming build will only be around $50, and it won't have onboard Wi-Fi. And I know a lot of new PC amateurs that had no clue that it doesn't come with onboard Wi-Fi. You have to get a Wi-Fi USB. It'll be in your budget after this video. The total cost is only $395 and a $55 off in mail-in rebate. So this is a really good deal for a console killer. So the next piece of our equipment is the G.Skill Agus 8GB DDR3 memory / RAM, as y'all know it. This only comes in as $30. This is the cheapest I've seen RAM other than on Amazon, which was literally $1 off. But either way, it's $29.99 with $1 shipping. It's a really good deal. If you want to get 8GB of memory, I would consider getting this one because it's the cheapest I've seen online right now. All you need these days is 8GB. Even though the PS4 has 8GB and I call this a console killer, you can't multitask as much as you can on a PS4 than you can on a PC. So you could have Google Chrome open while you're playing a game, but I don't recommend having YouTube open while you're playing a game because it really lags it out with 8GB of RAM, and I have 16 and it still kind of lags it out. So I wouldn't recommend using YouTube while you're playing a game. But for the most part, this amount of RAM is definitely sufficient enough to run all your games while running Windows in the background and maybe a few Google tabs while you're playing a game. The next part in our build is going to be the Western Digital Caviar Blue 1TB hard drive, and it is at 7200 RPM. It's only $47.49. It's a really good deal. It's been that deal for quite a while, and it's definitely in your budget, especially if you're going for a $400 PC build. You definitely need 1TB or more. I'd say 500 GB is enough for these days games, especially for this build because it can run pretty new games, and those take up a lot of space. And this is the top notch, you know, it's the 7200 RPM. It's the best you can get for a hard drive. But if you're not really going for games that have too much memory, like the old day games like World at War or CSGO, something like that, just get a 120GB SSD. It's around the same price, except for it runs a lot faster. And then for our graphics card, we have the EVGA GTX 950 2GB graphics card. This graphics card is definitely way better than the PS4 graphics card. It plays GTA 5 at 60 frames per second with no struggle. It kind of goes down to 50 a little bit, but for the most part, it stays at 60, and it's definitely way better than the PS4's graphics card. So for the case, we have the Roswell Galaxy 3 ATX mid-tower case. This is definitely a big deal. It's $45 with the $20 off mail-in rebate, which is really good. And I forgot to mention, the graphics card is $167 with the $20 mail-in rebate, which is a great deal. So as I said, this Roswell case is a $45 case with a $20 mail-in rebate, which makes it $25, which is a really good deal for a case. This case is not too pretty, but it's nothing that you don't want to look at, so I would definitely recommend it if you're going for a budget PC build. And for our last part, which is the power supply, is the Thermaltake TR2 430 watt power supply. This is definitely needed because our rig won't require too much power and is definitely a beast, but it doesn't need that much power. I mean, you could put 400 watts in this, but it's definitely not needed. Just use the 430 watt. It's definitely worth it for the buy, especially since it's $35 with the $15 mail-in rebate, which is $20. That's $20 for a power supply, which is really cheap. You can find those, but it's not as reliable as Thermaltake. Trust me, guys. Don't get the ones that you see that you don't know the name brand. So this is the end of the video. If you have bought this PC because of me or are thinking about buying it, comment down in the comment section. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. This has been Flash Agus, and I'm out. Peace.